ICT instructional videos. Today we're talking about speaking question 3. I hope you had time to watch my videos for speaking question 1 and 2 because now we're getting into the integrated questions, which are a little bit harder. Integrated means you have to take two sources of information and combine them. Question 3 is called the announcement discussion task. First, you read an announcement. You have 45 seconds to read the announcement. Next, you listen to a conversation between a man and a woman. The conversation is about a minute to a minute and a half. Then you prepare for 30 seconds to answer the question, and you speak for 60 seconds. Okay, let's rewind a bit. What is the announcement about? The announcement is about a change that will occur on the campus. Perhaps they're building a new parking lot. Maybe a professor is retiring. Perhaps tuition is going up. Whatever it is going to be a change you will typically see on the wall of a college or university. It will talk about the change, it will give a reason for the change, and then toward the end of the announcement it will give some details. 45 seconds is not much time to read this announcement, but luckily we do not have to memorize it. I will explain how to get the most of your 45 seconds in a few minutes. Now, as to the conversation, 90% of the time it's between a man and a woman. Occasionally it's one person ranting or making a speech about the announcement, but that's very rare. It's usually a man and a woman, and it's important to know that because it's going to affect how you are going to take your notes during this question. But again, I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Now, one of the people, could be the man or could be the woman, is going to have strong opinions about this change, either in favor of the change or perhaps against the change. The person who does most of the talking is the one you need to focus your notes on, because that's the person they're going to ask you about. The other person's role is simply to encourage the other person to speak, saying things like, "Really?" or "I'm not sure I agree with you," or "Yeah, you have a point there." But those kinds of comments aren't really important. The comments that are important are the two reasons that the person gives for either liking the change or disliking the change, because that's how we get our score. Of course, the score we want is a 4. 4 is the highest you can get on each question in the TOEFL speaking. Let's look at an example of an announcement that would be typical for this question. Now, you only have 45 seconds to read it, but luckily, the most important information is always in the first few sentences, and that's all they really expect you to catch. So let's look at this one. It's about a library closure. You can see the library is closing for renovations. This closure will occur over the winter holidays in order to cause the least amount of disruption to students. The renovations will expand the northwest wing of the library in order to accommodate 10 new computers with desks. The rest of the announcement is not really important. This is just details. It includes dates and times. Those are not things that are important to this announcement, and you can safely ignore it and not lose any points. So all you really need to know is, 1, the library is closing for renovations, 2, it's occurring over the winter holidays, and 3, the purpose is to add new computers. I just want to show you really quickly how to take notes on the announcement that you just saw. All you need is a C and an R. I put that there for change and reason. The change here, library is closing for renovations. The reason, to add new computers and desks. And that's all you really need to write down. And you can do that in the 45 seconds they give you. Okay, next we're going to listen to a sample conversation talking about the announcement. Have you seen the new announcement about the library renovation they're planning?
The renovation they're doing over winter break? Sure, what about it?
I can't believe they're closing it during our break. It's so inconvenient.
What do you mean? It's during winter break. Most students will be out of town anyways.
Not me. I can't afford a plane ticket home. I'll be on campus the whole time. It's really annoying I won't be able to use the library. It's the only quiet place I can go to study.
but aren't you at all excited about getting new computers? The ones we have now are so outdated.
Not really. Most students have their own computers anyway. It's not like a few new computers are going to improve our college experience. If they have extra money, how about getting us more fitness equipment? I mean, have you been to the fitness center lately? There are only 2 treadmills for the entire campus. When I want to use one, I have to put my name on a waiting list. It's really frustrating. The woman gives her opinion about the plan to renovate the library. State her opinion and the reason she gives for holding that opinion. Okay, next we're going to look at how to take notes during this task. Before the conversation even starts, write a big T on your paper with an M for man and a W for women. That way you're ready to start your notes right away when the conversation starts. So I've written here what they've said, and I have R1 and R2, and I've circled those, you'll notice. Why? Because I want to make sure that I mention them when it comes time for me to speak, because these are a big part of my score. Now I haven't written down everything that the 2 people said. I don't have time to do that, but this is enough for me to give a full response. So you'll notice that when they spoke first, I put it at the top. Then a little bit further down, the next comment, and so on and so forth. That way, when I go to give my response, I can give it in order going from the top of my notes to the bottom. You'll notice I just wrote down one word, and I'll have to make a full sentence when it comes time for me to speak. I just wrote inconvenient, but of course when I speak, I'm going to say, the woman thinks the library closure is inconvenient. Okay? The man asks why, it's during the break. Reason 1, which again is circled because it's important. Not going home, needs the library to study. The man mentions that new computers are exciting. The woman says not really, because students, SS is a good abbreviation for students, have their own. And the second reason, college should use the money for more treadmills. So that's all I need, and then when I go to give the response, I'll turn this into full sentences, and I will show you a sample answer in a moment. Okay, now I'm going to give you a sample answer. I will be keeping my answer to the 60 seconds, and you should too. When you practice, you need to practice within the time constraints so you can get used to it and know how much you can say in 60 seconds. Okay, I'll begin in 3, 2, 1, go. According to the announcement, the college plans to close the library over the winter holidays in order to add new computers and desks. The woman is not in favor of this closure for several reasons. First of all, she plans to stay on campus over the holiday, and she needs the library to be open so she has a quiet place to study. She doesn't think that new computers are a benefit because most students have their own computers. Secondly, she thinks that if the college has extra money, they should spend it on improving the fitness center. She mentions that there are only 2 treadmills for the entire student body. She feels frustrated because she has to put her name on a waiting list and wait for an available treadmill. She thinks the money would be better spent improving the fitness center for all the students. And that's why the woman is not in favor of the library closure and renovation. Okay, let's look at some useful phrases that we can use when we give our response. I always recommend you start with according to the announcement and just give 1 or 2 sentences from the announcement. Again, you don't have to catch all the details from the announcement. Just what is the change and what is the reason for the change. So, for example, for our example, it would be according to the announcement, the library is going to be closing over winter break for renovations. They are doing this so they can add new computers to the library along with new desks. That's all you need to say. Most of your task is to summarize the conversation. So you should only be spending 5 to 10 of your 60 seconds on the announcement. Then you're going to start with the man or the woman, depending on who has given the 2 reasons, is in favor of this change, or is not in favor of this change, or agrees with this change, or disagrees with this change for several reasons. Then go ahead and summarize the conversation, of course making sure you've included the 2 reasons that the person has given for either supporting or not supporting the change the university is making. Okay, so to summarize, how to get the best score. First of all, sum up the announcement, but don't spend too much time on it. Remember, it should only be about 5 to 10 seconds of your response time. Most of your response time should be used summarizing the conversation between the man and the woman. Secondly, accurately summarize the conversation, especially the 2 reasons given for or against the change. Do not worry if you're repeating the exact same words you heard. In fact, that's a good thing. Try to think of yourself as a reporter. You want to give the most accurate report possible of what you heard. So try to be as accurate as possible here. Next, answer the question as it is given. Now I know that sounds obvious, but a lot of students end up giving their opinion at the end. They say something like, well, I personally think it's a good idea if they add computers to the library. But that's not part of this task. This task always asks you to talk about the man or the woman's opinion about the change. They are not asking for your opinion, so don't give it. You won't lose points for giving it, but you will waste valuable time where you should be spending summarizing the conversation. So don't give your opinion on this question. Okay, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and watch my other videos. And as always, good luck on your TOEFL. Bye!